Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of consciousness, musical vibration, and really taking control of your destiny and sending a message, an individual message, because we all have our own message to the universe or to society that we want to impact. Today on the show, we have a young lady who's definitely has taken control of her life, her destiny, her journey, and sharing it in such a way that has touched a lot of people and still touching a lot of people, all the way from Boulder, Colorado. I'm gonna let her share her story. But her name is very beautiful, and she's gonna also tell us how she came up with this name. But I'm gonna call her what I think she should always be called. Lovelight. Welcome to the show, Miss Lovelight.
Andre the Beast, it's such a blessing to be here. I've been looking forward to the show for months now, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
So first start
Yep.
out and tell us what that full name is and how that name actually came about.
Of course. So my full name is Beth Lovelight Forever. That's my last name. So I often do go by Lovelight. It can also be pronounced Be Thy Lovelight Forever, which is the message of my music, which is what we're here to talk about today, is conscious elevating music. And so I am a divinely inspired and cosmically attuned musician. And we're going to talk today about what that really means.
Yeah.
But this name, which came about when I finally got what I would consider radiantly healthy after years of anxiety and depression and skin issues and so many things. And finally, after so much tracking and tracing of myself and realizing I have the power to heal myself with the help of source, creation, the creatrix matrix, that's when this music started, and that's when my name changed. And for me, it was like a marrying to divine.
Let's go back a little bit real quick. Let's go back a little bit, because your journey is like, in order to change your name, I don't know if I can ask what your legal name was at the time, but tell me a little bit about your childhood, because this is a journey. So what was it like growing up for you?
Sure, I would love to share that. So I was born Beth Maria Ross to amazing, loving parents. I just went and visited them in Arizona. I'm very close with them. They're some of the kindest, most honest, integral humans on this planet for me. I feel like I chose them as my parents. And so I grew up in the church. My dad is a Presbyterian minister. My mom is a psychotherapist. They're still in love. They're still together after like 52 years. And it might be 53. And so I grew up with a lot of loving touch. I actually am a massage therapist because of that, because they gave me a lot of non-sexual, loving, godly touch. And so I now pass that on to other humans. It's part of how I fund this musical adventure too.
Okay.
And so yet in all of that love and, spiritual like foundation, I also didn't feel embodied and healthy all the way. I hadn't really found my path for the foods that work for me and, the kind of culture that works for me. But specifically for me, like the kind of diet that works for me. And so after going through trials and tribulations of finally figuring that out, which was about like 15, 18 years ago that my whole life changed. Because for me, feeling embodied and radiantly healthy changed everything.
What were some of the foods that wasn't registering with you, and about what age was this, and what were some of the complications that you was actually undergoing to even recognize that there was something wrong with the foods that you were taking?
That's a great question. So for me, I felt like certain pesticides and chemicals and additives that are created in laboratories weren't really working for me. They weren't really aligning with my divine matrix. and helping my body to radiantly vibrate at higher and higher vibrations. So I mean, even though my parents fed me the best food that they knew how, which was great, that we also had a lot of fast food. It was just part of the culture, you
Well, how
know?
did you know that you wasn't vibrating at such a young age? Like, what was, that when somebody hears this, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, how did you even come to a concept of at that young age, hey, I'm not vibrating the way I should be?
Well, actually, I didn't know, except that I fortunately actually had a lot of skin issues. And so I
Okay.
had acne, I had cold sores, and I had rashes, you
Hmm.
know, and all the doctors, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And I had kind of at that point given the power over to the doctors, that they somehow knew me better than myself.
Right.
And that's when my whole life changed when I left home and went to college. I went to Colorado College for a few years. And I started realizing, wait a minute, I bet I can figure out how to heal my own skin
Hmm.
because I've gone to so many and it's not working. And then I woke up to what I'm putting in my body is coming out my skin. So if I align with organic foods and more fruits and vegetables and organic meats, and like, I bet that my skin will start to get better.
Was that the
And
only issue that you was dealing with is skin?
no, it wasn't. I was also like, I was kind of like a little love zombie, really. I was always like a loving being, but I
Mhm.
actually didn't feel completely embodied.
What do you mean?
Um, like where I felt like I was in this avatar being, like, you know, the movie Avatar, when he wakes up in the avatar body. That's what
Uh,
I feel like happened for me when I started to get radiantly healthy, and also the sacred use of psychedelics.
Go back a minute. What do you mean psychedelics?
So using medicinal plants to help get information for me to know how to heal myself.
And what was that? What kind of plants were that? And what information were they sending you? And is there does different ingredients
Hmm.
um make different things happen to your body? And if so, what were they? Because what I'm trying to do is get the audience to understand if you're doing this, then if I'm taking a mushroom and the mushroom is supposed to give me this, and I take a this particular plant and this does this, what plants or things were you taking and what were the responses that it was giving to your body?
So, well, there's the plants and medicines that have come from the earth that were here, you know, way before the pharmaceutical industries were here, right? The indigenous and natives peoples have always utilized sacred medicines. They've always had medicine men and women to help facilitate these kind of ceremonies, and they're becoming more and more popular as this world evolves into what I consider a psychedelic revival, which is
Okay.
actually the name of one of my songs, which is consciously using these sacred plants for the evolution of consciousness.
But
And
when you
so,
say sacred plants, like what an example of
so
sacred
cannabis,
plants?
cannabis sativa, which is now
Okay.
mostly legal, which
Okay.
wasn't, right?
Okay.
But those of us that are medicine people, we always wanted it legal. This was a gift from God, you know,
Okay.
along with psilocybin mushrooms, a gift from God. And in my humble opinion, these should have never been illegal. These are our right as humans to be able to engage with that which was given by God.
Let's
Now, if
go
we,
back for a minute. When you talk about what were some of the things that let's just talk about these two things right here because we ain't got to go all over the spectrum. How did these
sure.
two things how did these two things change you as far as consciousness as opposed to where you was at prior to ingesting these or taking part of these particular natural herbs?
Um, I was just not fully in my skin and my matrix all the way. I was just kind of going through life with these loving parents and amazing family. And then I just like started getting radiantly healthy and started engaging with these entheogens being that which it taps us into the God or goddess within,
Mhm.
right? There's no one between me and the divine to be able to ask questions and get answers. So utilizing cannabis, psilocybin mushrooms, and also something called MDMA.
What's that?
which MDMA was created to help couples in counseling. Now, this one did come originally from a plant material, but it is created in a laboratory. But what it is basically a love medicine. It takes you to the heart and just fills you with love and allows you to deal with certain things like trauma in a love state of being.
I've never heard of this at
You
all.
never heard of this?
How long has this been around? And is it how long has
Um,
this been? Is it legal? Because we still talking about
yeah,
USA, we're still talking about FDA, we're
I
still
know.
talking about stuff. Is this illegal stuff? Like if I wanted this love medicine, I can go to my doctor and say I want this or what?
Not yet. Soon. There are studies now being done to be able to help legalize this type of love medicine. But and maybe we shouldn't talk about it anymore. But at the same time, there are groups like that are helping to create this, to make this a legal substance for people to utilize to heal themselves.
Before I gotta ask more question with this. I've never heard of it. And our show is designed to educate and empower. And I know the
Right.
viewers will be like, okay, what is this? If it's going to, so this is something that's experimental right now.
Yes.
So individuals can go online and research it for themselves, correct?
Yes, they
Okay.
can. Are studies, legal studies happening with it, with psychotherapists and psychiatrists in certain scenarios. But as the common people, it is not necessarily legal.
Okay. So let's go back to my original question with you was what has changed? What did you see actually change with the consumption of these particular herbs?
So in conjunction, so these, and I'll just group them as one to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to call them entheogens.
Okay.
Entheo means God or goddess. So to go to the God, to the divine within, to get the answers that you're looking for, instead of necessarily having a doctor be the God, because they weren't really working for me. So I would set ceremonial space. Now I'm changing my diet. I'm starting to track and trace what things are working for me and what are not. For example, gluten, not really working for me. Milk and dairy, not really working for me. But high vibrational wild foods, vegetables, herbs, high vibrational meat from animals that were raised with love, those are all working for me. So I'm starting to understand what's working and what's not working. Meanwhile, hosting for myself with a community of, like a cosmic community of people, holding sacred ceremonial space for me to be like, how can I heal myself? What do I need to do in my life? What changes do I need to make to raise my vibration to a frequency that's going to allow me to feel more love, more kindness, and to live my life with more joy? And so
Hmm.
I will utilize various entheogens, and I get information. I have visions. I get the information I'm looking for, and then it's my job to implement that in my life. And
So
that's called,
when you first had your first experience with
mhm.
this, what was the signals that you was given?
The first one was increased presence. Literally like Avatar, where you realize you're in a body that was given to you by divine, and it was what we might consider free, and that I actually have my own spaceship to learn how to run and figure out what fuel works for me. And all of a sudden, I'm responsible for my whole life. I'm responsible for my thoughts, my feelings, my reality. And I start to see that I'm creating this dream. And all of a sudden, there's an accountability.
You
And then,
mentioned you not to cut you off, you mentioned finding yourself, but you indicated you came from a free loving family who's still together.
yeah,
Congratulations on that.
thank you.
Um, um, it's almost like changing the whole spaceship now. So it's almost like what part of your family values transferred over to this new you? And then the second part of that question was doesn't that somehow debunk a lot of stuff that that maybe your father was saying? Because you said he was a preacher, right? So how did they accept what you were doing? Because you don't really jumped off the ship onto a whole new spaceship here.
It's true. It's true. And the cool part about my family is literally that they're what you consider Christian, yet they're Jesus followers. And what was Jesus saying? Love one another. You will do more than I have done. That, like, geez, it's us. Jesus is a part of us, you know? And so my parents and I are completely together on love one another, take care of yourself, take care of the children, take care of this planet, and love one another. And so there really isn't any conflict at all.
Really? Wow. So
Yeah, it's
you
a
you say you gave your original name.
uh-huh. Mhm.
You woke up and you broke the chains pretty
I broke
much.
the chains and took accountability for my life and
Why
realized
pick this name to start your journey?
because when it comes down to it, first of all, it's all about love for me. Love is the highest vibration and frequency that I know of on this planet. There might be a higher one somewhere else, but it's the highest vibration. When I come in contact with others that have devoted themselves to love, I feel uplifted. I feel uplifted. And so there's that. And then there's the light, which is not light or dark, black or white. It's the light from the sun.
Mhm.
I am a sun worshiper to the T. I just was outside before our show, putting my bare feet on the ground, and I lift my shirt up to the sun and I say, light me up, come into my heart and light me up. Give me the words and the frequency to speak for all of creation. Like, I feel connected to the oneness of all, which is why I changed my name to Be Thy Love Light, Bethy Lovelight. Like, it reminds me every time someone says my name, it reminds me of what I'm doing here.
Mm.
Like, I didn't choose to have kids this time. I spend a lot of time with kids and I love kids, but it's not really on my ticket because
Whoop,
I have
whoop,
a
whoop.
work.
Back up.
Yeah.
Back up. You just said something. You choose not to have kids this
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit. Where are we going with that?
Well, because I just wanted to say that I have another job and a journey to create high vibe, consciously created music,
Hmm.
which for me is beyond a full-time job. And raising children to me is beyond a full-time job. And for me, as much as I love children and I spend a lot of time with them, it's just for me to do that and do the work I need to do musically would be just too much for me. So I've chosen as a 48-year-old, that I'm just coming into the height of my music career now that I have so many kids. I have nieces and nephews and tribal kids, and I have so many kids that I can imprint, a conscious, loving information and wisdom to that I didn't necessarily need to have my own, you know? And I have an adopted brother and sister, interracially adopted brother and sister. They're older than me. So I'm the
Hmm.
first biological kid. And then I have a younger biological brother. But I
What
got
were
from the get-go,
what were
we're
you
all
doing
family.
before that? What were you doing before that? What was your occupation before you even got into music?
Massage therapy. So I've
And
been creating shamanic spaces where I offer professional, massage therapy to people. And I realized that it was so many people get off my table. They're like, that's the best massage I've ever had in my life. I feel so worthy. And I'm like, yeah, you should feel worthy. You are a child of God. I hope you feel that after our hour and a half session together. Like healthy and radiant. Like, what do you need to do in your life that's my main job, is to be a mirror. Now that I've found peace within, which is like where it all starts, peace within, peace with our partners, our family, our children, and community. And so we start here and then we build based on love and trust. Every person in my inner circle is someone that I trust 100%. And I have designed that because I live a life that's drama free. I construct and this is my dream connected to your dream, connected to everybody's dream. And I have a desire to create peace throughout the cosmos. That's my desire. And I do think it's possible, but it starts right here. in
But
my relationship.
what do you do in a situation
Uh-huh.
because it don't it appears that you pretty much had a pretty almost a drama-free life to begin with outside of you know the food. So how much drama has
Well,
actually been in your life?
the all this like I'm just one of those people who my struggles in life came from the inside.
Okay.
My anxiety, my depression, my suicidal thoughts. Luckily, everything on the outside was protected. So I got to see that the problems in my life were created by me and that I was the one that was going to need to change them.
When you
And
say
once
suicidal thoughts, like what part of your life even drug made you go down that thought pattern?
well, it's because of the toxins that were in my system, the toxins that were in my mind. I hadn't woken up yet to how amazing this life is because I didn't really feel good. And
Mhm.
now I feel almost every day. And I'm here, I know that I'm here to live my dreams and to make music. And this is my job. I woke up to my highest self. And that's my job now, I feel like, is to inspire others to wake up to our highest self. Like for me, the new, we call people rock stars. And I like to call the new rock stars or star rockers. We live long, healthy lives. We do engage with sacred medicines, but we do it in moderation. We
Mhm.
don't die at 28 from an overdose in a bathtub. Like, that's not the new conscious musician of the future. We're great examples to the kids. We teach moderation, we teach health, and we do radiate at high frequencies and create epic music, but we become great examples for humanity. And
What are
that's
s- what are some
mhm.
of the what are some of the negative feedbacks that you're getting from people because you just said that you've created your world with non-negativity. But as we talked earlier, negativity is always going to be there. What kind of negativity is trying to enter your space that you have to deal with constantly, or you ask yourself, why is this even an issue?
Well, I guess my intent is always to speak with truth, to live in integrity, and to choose to be around people that want to raise the vibration to higher and higher levels. Like for me,
Mhm.
it's this whole outer like race, class, sex, gender, that's just like so superficial to me. I'm looking at people's soul. I'm like, who are you? Are you here to uplift? Which is why you and I vibe, because you're here to uplift
Mhm.
people. You want to bring truth, love, light, beauty, goodness. And like, not necessarily everyone's on that path, but those that are, we're joining forces and we are the movement of the future.
Let's talk
You
about
know,
this conscious music that, and what's the difference between, let me start with the first question. Why conscious music?
so conscious music. So when I woke up to what I realized conscious music was is the power of our voice. Now, I always knew the power of my voice from my dad and watching him give these great sermons and how it touched people, right? And these
Mhm.
words they come out of our mouth and they're a vibration, they're a seed of creation. So let's say before you created this show, you probably thought about you wanted to have this show like a long time ago, and then you spoke it, and now it exists, right?
Mhm.
And so when we want to create in our world, we think it, we speak it, and then there are these seeds and we nourish them into creation. So with conscious music, with musicians who are in a kind of elevated unity consciousness, who are creating music for the benefit of all and are using conscious lyrics for the upliftment of humanity, these spells are going out through the music to our cells and affecting us on a higher and higher level, um, as opposed to, let's say, music that is just expression, and all expression should always exist. But let's say I just make a song about something in my life, boyfriend or girlfriend, or because I don't really relate as like one thing. I'm not just like gay or lesbian. I'm just a love being, right? So let's say I have these relationships and I share about them in my song. Well, that's okay. That should exist, but that doesn't really uplift me. There's not really a lot of consciousness to the elevation of humanity in that kind of music. So if I go to a concert and it's just like, I crashed my truck and then my dog did this, and then, songs like, I'm gonna push you around. It's like, I'm not gonna push you around. I'm not into dominator mentality. Like, what are these spells that are going out into these vibrations of these songs? And when I
Hmm.
woke up to that, I was like, oh, we can transform humanity with positive spells, with
Hmm.
lyrics that are seeding creation for what we do want. And we know that as we speak and create the world we want, we start to see it happening, which is to me why it's so exciting to wake up in the morning, because I'm like, what am I going to dream up today? I know that I'm a creator and a manifester and I have power to create. We all do. It's just those of us that have woken up to that reality. And then we realize that we can amplify what we want. We can make wishes come true.
So
So if
what's the
we
difference between what's the difference? Because you're talking, this is a whole new genre that is just not been brought to my attention. And I'm glad that you took the time to come on and share it with the viewers. But how does this resonate from Grammy Award winning songs or artists like Beyonce, Jay-Z, the jazz artists? How does this how does this music begin to take presence over something that's been around forever?
Sure, that's a great question. So, it's really about tapping into what feeds your soul, like music as medicine, or music as just being like what we might call cool.
Hmm.
So I feel like we're redefining what cool is, to like, oh, these are so popular and they're played everywhere, but are they elevating my consciousness? Do they make me feel like I am inspired to live my best life? Or am I just focused on Beyonce as being beautiful and cool and amazing, which she is?
Hmm.
But for me, it's about beyond the artist to tapping into source and basically giving all the glory to that which created us, not just the rock star, you
Now
know?
you mentioned we, so you're not the only artist
No,
that's
there's so many, and there are a
producing
lot.
this music. What are some of the other artists that you can name that are producing vibrational, empowering music
Uh-huh.
like you're doing yourself?
There's actually a local band here called Elephant Revival.
Hmm.
They're a bluegrass psychedelic rock band that has all high vibe conscious lyrics. They're actually my friends too. Then
Hmm.
there's Rising Appalachia, who is they're two sisters, but then also a band. And it's when you then we have A Lanario, we have God, there's so many. Um, but it's a movement where, and I wanted to bring this up because I know we probably only have 30 minutes, but I wanted to talk about two things: cymatics, and also the power of putting our intention into water. And the reason that I want to bring these up is because, for one, cymatics is visually seeing the effects of sound on a medium.
Hmm.
For example, if you put salt on top of a speaker and you pump music through the speaker and frequencies, that salt will actually change into different patterns, and they get more and more complex as the frequencies get higher and higher and higher. So let's say you have a frequency and then you see four different circles. And then as the frequency goes up, you'll see 8 and then 16. And you're literally watching the frequency of the sound affect the substance, right? You can do it through water too. You can pump music and sounds through water, and it will change the pattern of the water. So it's kind of intuitive in knowing that when we go to a concert or we hear music, we're a living cell. We're mostly water. And so when that vibration comes in, it's literally transforming the cells in our being. And so
Hmm.
then you've got the cymatics part of the literal frequency, but then you also have, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Emoto, but he's
Hmm.
pretty popular. He wrote a book called The Messages of Water.
Right.
And what he proved is that with our intention, water will change its molecular structure based on our intention. For example, he took water and he would say, "I love you. You're so beautiful. You're amazing. You can do anything." And it would create these beautiful structures in the molecules of the water. And he froze them and took pictures of them. And then he took water and said, "I hate you. You can never do anything. You're not worth anything." And then he took pictures of the water, and they're very different. And, beauty is subjective, but at the same time, if you see something that's kind of symmetrical and looks like a snowflake, that's kind
Mhm.
of what the love water looked like. And the hate water looked like kind of sick, like almost like a cancer cell, you
I
know?
believe when I saw the water molecules that he talked about, they looked almost like they was black mold
Yeah,
cased in ice.
yeah. And
Mm.
so if we're mostly water and we go to a concert and we have this music and this intention from the artist or artists, if it's a band, coming through the music to us, we have the potential of it actually hurting us or
Versus
helping
healing.
heal us. And I've been to festivals where a band comes on and literally I am in pain from the intention. There's not any intention in the music. It's total chaos. And I'm like, I have to get out of here right now. Like, this is hurting me. As opposed to an artist that has intentionally created music that's coming into my cellular structure and it's taking me higher than I already am. And I'm pretty high vibrational being anyway. And I
Right.
want to go higher. And that's when I know that I've entered a conscious musical space because I trust how I feel, which goes back to instead of giving the power to doctors, psychotherapists, preachers, all these people, as helpful as they all are, that we become, and this is the movement of the future, that we are the person that knows ourselves the best,
Now
that
you
we've taken.
mentioned, I didn't mean to cut you off. You mentioned a lot of these bands were around the Colorado area, but how universal is this? Is this like, are there bands here in Indiana, or are there artists, not bands, but artists throughout the United States that you guys are collaborating with? About how big is this actually becoming?
It's growing rapidly. I mean, I feel like they all kind of moved here. It's like, it's kind of amazing. Like Trevor Hall moved here. Amani Friend of Liquid Bloom moved here. We've got it's there's it's a movement of musicians of music as medicine, like Nako Bear. Like we've got these that they're basically saying like we're connected to something beyond ourselves. For example, I'm just going to share a little bit about my EP that just came out, and it's called Love Hum. This is the album cover. EP
Okay.
means extended play.
Okay.
So 5 songs. It's 18 minutes. It's which for me is perfect. 5 is my favorite number, and
Okay.
18 minutes is perfect for me. And so, Love Hum is a beautiful love song about falling in love and giving into love itself. But the third song on this EP is called Moving Me. There's something more than me that's moving me, yeah. So it's this reality that something beyond me is interacting with me and moving me. Now, call it whatever you want. Great spirit, goddess, God, divine. We all have like infinite names for it. But once you acknowledge that something created us and it's interacting with us, and I can feel it moving me with me, that's something beyond that. When I want to support musicians that are giving, we're presenting spells. Musicians have spells. We have our lyrics are spells, and I want to be in a spell that's raising my vibration and taking me higher and reminding me what I'm doing here,
Where do you
which
get
is
your inspiration from to do all this? Because you clearly are a different type of artist, and my hats off to you
thank
for
you.
wanting to share that with the world and elevate them to a higher consciousness through the sound of music. I did read the book with the water, and I do believe that if you speak positive things can actually change the way people approach you or look at you. But what gives you that? What motivates you to write? Like, where do you get your inspiration from?
Well, I'm just gonna go back to the Love Hum EP for a second because like the second song in there is called Free Inside. And it's like free inside, from the inside, inside out. And this idea of freedom and where it comes from. And for me, like I was saying, getting into radiant health and feeling good in my body, mind, spirit, and finally feeling free inside, like it's not coming from an outside source. It's not coming necessarily from my job or my partnership or something out here or the world, like having a good day because just because the weather's good, like freedom coming from the inside out. And so my inspiration is usually like, well, what wish or prayer do I have in my life right now? Like right now I'm working on a song called I Believe, which is basically about I believe in this we are. And I do believe in angels and I do believe in that which created us. But it's about a song about when we leave this planet and how to get into love and celebrate our life. And we in kind of a death-fearing culture where death isn't spoken of very much. And kind of it's a song that I've sung at many memorials and funerals, and it's a celebratory song, celebrating life and celebrating this circle of life and what we call death, which is really a transition, a transcendence to the next realm. It's a mystery,
Right.
but we all know that it goes on.
How
And if
can
we
the
can
viewers, how can the viewers reach out to you and get your all your new songs and book you for a guest appearance? How can the viewers reach out to you?
So probably the best way that is my website, which is www.bethylovelight or Bethy Lovelight. So it's BethyLovelight.com. And I also do a lot on Instagram, which is basically the same, Bethy Lovelight on Instagram. There's no other Bethy Lovelight, so it's really easy. And so those are the two places where I update with where I'm going to be playing next. And you can also, so this Love Hum EP that just came out, I'm really excited about. It's more like down tempo, like sweet, sultry kind of music. And then I have a song called Psychedelic Revival.
Wow.
So
Okay.
this is kind of my theme, like rainbows and angels and higher vibrations. And this revival of tapping into entheogens and figuring out for ourselves through the help of guidance sometimes or ourselves. And what do we need to do to tap into our highest self, to be the most radiant, loving, kind, open human being that we possibly can? Because it makes life more fun.
Right.
And this is the other song I have out called the Wild Weed Song, which when I first started out, I started doing conscious hip hop. And I like to rap. None of my music has bad language
Right.
because you can see I'm not anti bad language, but for me on my recordings, because words are seeds of creation, I want them all to be high vibe.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and this song is about 12 different edible wild weeds that grow locally, that if we stop spraying pesticides, which are killing the bees and killing us,
Right.
then we can actually eat these plants. And my partner, Brigitte Mars, that was on your show just recently,
Right.
he's the one that taught me that we don't have to like buy all of our food. We can learn how to identify them, go out and harvest them for free and utilize them in our daily life. And not only are they free and amazing, but they're wild. So if
Right.
you want to activate the wild in you, then you can eat wild foods that are very different from store foods, which are great too. But if you want to activate that wild DNA, I feel like it's completely changed my life, wild foods. So
Okay.
that's why I talk about it. So it's a reggae, hip hop, rock song
That's
about wild weeds.
that sounds good.
They
Before
can
we
go to my website and get all of those on this really cool little USB key. So it looks like a key. I'm getting them engraved right now. They have my logo on them, but they fit in your computer and you can get all of them together from my website or Bandcamp. And
Oh,
then
that's
you can
cool.
check out. But my music's also on Spotify. It's on Apple Music under Bethy Lovelight. So that's how you find me.
Before we wrap up, how before we wrap up, what did you want the viewers to get? What's the most important thing that you wanted the viewers to get from your episode? Because you share so much new information, a new genre of music, um, understanding the importance of different pharmaceutical plants. What is the key
Uh-huh.
message that you would like the viewers to get from this episode?
That we have the power to not only heal ourselves, but to create the reality that we want to see. We have the power to live in the love, healing, radiant, love light vibration if we are willing to take accountability for our life, to start tracking ourselves, and to realize that we're a unique creation that has unique needs and that we have to figure out for ourselves. Doctors and healers and helpers are all here to help us, but
Mhm.
that we take accountability for ourselves and that we can create the dream world that we've always wanted if we're willing to take accountability, see ourselves, apologize for what we need to apologize, clear our slates, and surround ourselves with beautiful angels of all shapes, sizes, colors, and classes and everything. Diversity is the key.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show.